Ladies and gentlemen, despite the fact that Hamas decided to not return the hostages and therefore prompting this continuation of the war, obviously everybody blames Israel because that's what they do. And Naftali Bennet went on the BBC and cleared all of this up, and he completely just educated this interviewer. Check out what he has to say about the ongoing situation with the continuation of the war.
Is it proven that war is the best way to bring the hostages home?
It's proven that applying war and military pressure on Hamas is the only way to get them moving, yes.
But you will have heard today the response from hostages who've already been released, who say it's not.
It's terrible. It's terrible that Hamas is holding hostages in chains underground, is acting in a savage and sadistic way. The problem is that they're not releasing the hostages, and they want to continue remaining a terror group on our border.
But the hostages have come back when there's been a pause in the fighting.
We have to prevent this.
But the hostages have come back in numbers when there has been a pause in the fighting. Twice it happened in the early part of the war and in the last few weeks.
That's right, because the pause happens after the fighting, and when the fighting applies pressure on Hamas, and when they feel fire getting near them, then they ask to pause. Look, we don't want war. I don't want war. My best friend fell in war. I fought wars. War is a bad thing. But we're dealing with ISIS, with Al Qaeda, the worst terror organizations on earth, and in this case, Hamas. These are not reasonable people. These are savages. They want to murder all of my nation. They're holding the hostages. They've not budged. But they can't stop this right now if they release the hostages and lay down their arms.
Why do you think Israel is not sticking to the terms of the ceasefire agreement it signed in January? It was a process, this, agreed by all parties, a difficult negotiation when it comes to phase two, no doubt. But Israel seemingly has walked away from something it signed up to just a few months ago.
No, the contrary. Hamas has violated the ceasefire several times. But the bottom line is, imagine that you have a neighbor who murdered some of your family and, God forbid, raped some of your family, now is holding two of your kids hostage and is telling you that they're going to continue murdering you and your family the moment they can. That's what we're dealing with. We have our neighbor tells us, we want to kill you. We want to annihilate the Jewish people. They keep on saying it. In fact, right now, we know that they're preparing more attacks. And being nice and talking is not moving anything. So we have to apply pressure, and we have to fight these savages and defeat them.
Would you, if you were Prime Minister at this point, restore aid to Palestinians? Would you provide people living in Gaza, the innocent people who are living in Gaza, with food, water, medicine, safe havens?
During the ceasefire, we let in 25,000 trucks of aid. I keep on hearing about starvation, but when I saw the pictures of that sadistic ceremony of releasing the coffins of babies, you know what else I saw? I saw fat Hamas terrorists. They were fat. They had a lot of fat on them. That means they're eating a lot.
Oh, that's great. Just saying it like it is.
I don't know what they're having there. Is it pizzas or hamburgers? But I guess there's a lot of food if you're that fat a terrorist. So with all due respect, tremendous amount of food is entering Gaza. Hamas is hijacking some of it. And if I were a Gazan, I would come with complaints to Hamas.
But the British government, a key ally, says Israel is breaking international law by stopping aid going into Gaza. The Foreign Secretary, David Lammy, said that while Israel, quite rightly, must defend its own security, the ongoing blockade is a breach of international law.
No, we're not. That's incorrect. We're allowing tremendous amount of food in. And in fact, there is no starvation in Gaza, as I just mentioned. If there were, I think we'd see skinny people, but instead all we saw is fat terrorists. The only skinny people were the hostages that were starved by the terrorists.
How much of this do you think, this decision to walk away from the ceasefire agreement, is politics? Because you have said previously that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is seeking to avoid the ultimate responsibility for the security failure on October 7th. Do you think this says more about his position within the coalition?
Look, I'm no big fan of this government, and that's well known, but I want to tell you that all Israelis stand behind the military, the IDF, the hostages, the need to bring them home, and the need to ensure that a massacre such as October 7th will not occur again.
But when I look at the poll that's been done by Lazar in the last few days, only 27% of people believe the best approach is to resume full-scale fighting. 54% believe the government should agree to a deal securing the release of the hostages. So the politicians are on the wrong side of the public debate in Israel.
Look, as I said, all Israelis that are called up for reserve service, even fourth time, fifth time, are coming. And we understand that war is a bad thing. We don't want war. If it's the only way that we can release the hostages, we'll do what we need to do.
Do you think there is a future for Palestinians in Gaza?
I don't know. It's up to Hamas and up to them to decide. If Hamas lays down their arms, if Hamas releases the hostages, then there can be a future for Gaza.
Would you support the crossing points in Gaza being opened for people to leave?
If someone wants to leave Gaza, of course they should be allowed to leave Gaza. If someone wants to leave London, they should be allowed to leave London.
Because the concern would be, and I just want to get to the bottom of this, is that Donald Trump has complicated this picture and this ceasefire process. He's talking about this Riviera-style resort in Gaza, and out of that comes a breach of the agreement that was signed up to 2 months ago. And people, I guess, in the Arab world will be concerned that this is the final scenario in Gaza, that we're in the beginning of that process.
What's your question?
Well, is it?
No.
So there is a future for Palestinians in Gaza?
It's up to them. If they release the hostages, lay down their arms. If we don't have a terrorist organization on our door entrance, then Gaza can have a future. If they want to continue killing all the Jews, then they don't have a future.
Naftali Bennet, very grateful for your time. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Clear as can be. It's up to them. It's all on Hamas. They don't want to give back the hostages. They don't want to surrender. You're going to die. That is the only option. Surrender or die. Very simple, very clear. Naftali Bennet, check him out. Very, very good. I think that he says the right things. I know that in power, when he was prime minister, he did a lot of bad things, but recently he's been speaking very clearly. For more, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. Thank you, and have a good one.